Hey dear friends, welcome back again. We are so happy you popped over again to see what we are up to today. Of course, for everyone who is new here, welcome. We are Janny and Dyanne and we hope you enjoy what you see. And if you do, of course, we hope you take a little bit of inspiration with you. For everyone who is here and is not subscribed to our channel, we hope you will click the red subscribe button, give it a thumbs up and tick the bell so you will be notified every time we upload new DIYs. Like we always say, enough talking, let's jump in today's inspiration. So you see already, the table is ready for a new DIY inspiration. Of course, we're going to use the smaller blocks. I know a couple of you would like to know to do something with the big blocks. Of course, in the future, we're going to do something with the big blocks because I still have a lot of boxes with the bigger blocks. I have here my container with everything inside, some scissors, markers, brushes, and of course my wood glue. And I only use an easy and cheap brand wood glue. So don't worry, just buy a wood glue which is not expensive because you don't need really expensive ones. I have here my container with my paint. Of course, this is only for an example because you can choose anything you like. Maybe you like gold, silver, you can do anything you like. I have here my saucer with an old piece of kitchen towel which is wet to wipe away the glue. And I have here my little bag with some sponges in different sizes because we are going to make two signs, of course with a twist, and you can use some stencils, but you also can use some stickers. You can do anything and maybe you can draw something yourself, but do it. It's like the only inspiration, of course, is the two signs, and I hope to give them a little kind of a twist. So we will see how this will turn out. So the first step, what we're going to do is the base of our sign making, and of course everyone has a different stencil I'm going to use because I only going to take a little piece out of this side and this side because I don't have to use the whole frame. For me it's important that my print is falling inside. So but my print is what I'm going to use is 23 centimeters wide, 23, and in inches it is, I have to look, I would go for, no, if I'm correctly, 9 inches. So 23 centimeters or 9 inches. That's my print. So if you have one like that, then you have the measurement for the blocks. Of course, I'm going to use 14 centimeters this side, 14 centimeters, and in inches it is, I would go for 5.5 inches. If you are going to make the same base like I do, then you have the right measurements. And I'm going to use a very simple from an old mill sign. So we're going to place this aside. So now you have the measurements. And of course, if you're going to paint it yourself, then you have the right measurement. And of course, if you use some stencils, you always have the right measurement. So we are going to take on the table, we are going to take 3 rows of 14 blocks. I'm going to do the rest over here too. And again, you see already my 3 rows of 14 blocks. And on that piece, you can do anything you like. Like I told you, I just bought these stencils on Temu, and they were very cheap, and I'm really happy with the quality. The only thing that, of course, I think Sharon, you told me, I'm correctly, you told me that you have some spray that you can do it over and then it sticks better on top of your piece, of course, instead of painter's tape, but I don't have it yet. This is a great idea. I hope I can find it. So we will see, but for now I have to do with some painter's tape, but that will work also. So I'm going to go very easy, and I'm only doing together with you this one because we are going to make 2 of this kind of planks from 3 rows of 14 blocks. And of course, if you use the bigger blocks, it's also fine too. If you only use the measurements, then you are fine too. Maybe you need a lot less blocks because your blocks are much bigger, but you still can use the same measurements. So I'm already on the last row, and I like already, I am so happy now. English, it's Monday. I'm sorry, I already tell you in front, it's Monday. I have to, my English is a little bit rusty always on Monday. So, of course, I am always enjoying a nice sign in my decor. That's what I wanted to tell you. We're going to squeeze it, but we're going to start from the inside to the outside, and then we're going to give it some pressure. If you do that in front, you already saw it a couple of videos ago, then everything will pop out, and that's not what we want. We do here the same. You see already this one wants already to go up. And again, we're going to make a nice row. And of course, everyone who has a carpenter's square, if I'm correctly, of carpenter's hook, then you already have the straight line. I always do it with my fingers, so if you have one, just use it. I'm going to give this a couple of minutes drying. So I waited a couple of minutes. I'm going to place 2 on the side, and they are not totally dry yet, so just be a little bit careful. But if it falls apart, it doesn't matter, because with wood glue you can easily place everything together and it will fit nicely again. Again, this one, and we make sure that we have it in a straight line. And now we're going to turn it, and we're going very gently, we're going to give it some pressure from the outside over here, and we fill in the open gaps like this. And you see already everything is disappearing. And now we're going to make sure that we also have it. So you see already this one is also getting loose, but it doesn't matter. You just glue it together again. And I have to work with this one a little. This one has to go down. And now we're going to wipe away the glue, and we're going to let this dry in at least for 20 minutes. And we are going to make the second one. So again, you see already on the table are the 3 rows of 14 blocks, because my other stencil is also the same measurement. So very easy. If you want to have, if you have a different stencil, just take your blocks. If you want to know the measurement, just place your blocks where you want to have your stencil. You just place them on top of here, dry, and you're going to measure out how much you need and go this way also. Then you have always the right measurement. So then you don't have to use mine. Then you can use the measurement for your own stencil. So, but it's very easy to do. So I'm going to glue all 3 rows together again, the same like we did with the first. Also, this 3 rows of 14 I gave a couple of minutes, and I'm going to place 2 on the side. And you see already there's a little bit glue still coming out. We're going to do some glue on the tops of the blocks, lay it down, and we do here the same. Some glue on the tops. Make sure that you have on each block a little bit of glue. And again, we're going to place them nicely together, and we're going to turn it, and we're going to easily from the side, we're going to give some pressure to fill in the open gaps. And you see already this one struggles a little to get close to the other one. He's not really in for it today. So you see this, how easy it is. This also DIY, and you just do it simply. Just place it together again. Make sure that you squeeze it and let everything dry in later for 20 minutes, and it doesn't move anymore. Don't worry about it. So again, I'm going to wipe away the glue. So if it falls apart, don't panic, because you just place it together, squeeze it, and let it dry. So now we're going to make a border around it. How you call it? We call it a zijkant. So that means that you make a little frame on the outside. But you can do the frame, of course, different in many ways. I'm going to do it very simple. Just 5 blocks in a row and 2 of 3 blocks in a row. So 2 of 5 and 2 of 3. We're going to do the tops. We're going to do some glue. Place them down. And we're going to fill in this one. And make a nice row. So we glue 4 and we place number 5 as a closure up. We have already 1, number 2, number 3 and number 4, and number 5 is here the closure up. Here we only have to do 2 because number 3 is the closure up, and this one and this one, and we're going to squeeze it, press them together like this, and we're going to go here from the inside. Make sure that you have all of them in a straight line, because this is important, because you have to glue them nicely on the borders of your plank. So we're going to wipe away the glue over here, and we're going to let it rest in for at least 10 minutes. Of course, the first one is resting over here, but we have 2 signs. So I'm going to do the frames the same with both of them. So we can 2 pieces of 5 and 2 pieces of 3, and we're going to row them the same like we did with the other one together. So this is very easy, but if you have a different way of making the frame around it, totally fine. Do whatever you think it's right. I'm just giving a simple piece that you can do and change up any way you like. So again, the last one and this one, and then we're going to squeeze them already, and then we have already the pieces of both of our frames. And again, I must make sure that I have them straight and smooth as possible as can be. So again, we're going to let this rest also, both of them. I said 10 minutes, but I would go for a little longer. Do for both of them a ½ hour. So if everything is correctly, you have 2 of this kind of planks we just made and 2 sets of this one. So we are going to paint first the base, and then later we're going to build the rest. So I'm going to do this in my black schoolboard paint, and I do both of the sides, because you can do, of course, if you have place your sign on a place where you can see it on both sides, then I always recommend do the stencil on this side and do the stencil also on this side. So when which side you are walking through, you can see at least on both sides your sign. So I'm going to paint this in the black schoolboard paint, and this in a little bit of the rustic brown color. So, but I won't bore with that. I do this a little faster. So we did paint all the pieces of the base of our sign, and I placed a piece of paper kitchen towel on top of here to make sure that not the back side is scratched on my mat. So I'm doing a little piece of paper over it. I'm going to get my stencil, and I'm going to look for where I want to have it. I make sure that everything is a little bit in the middle, of course, like this. And I'm going to get some painter's tape. I had already some painter's tape over here, and I'm going to try to give it a little bit of steadiness, because the stencil is not really that small. I mean, my plank is almost the same size as my stencil, so it's a little bit tricky to do it. I'm doing a little tape over here and a little tape over here, and then I hope for the best. So now I have an old piece of cardboard. I'm going to place it down, because I'm going to use my sponge. And of course, you have some sponge for your kitchen. You also can cut little blocks from that one. So I ordered this one on Temu, and of course I have a little bit of a bigger one. I did have it over here, but he is gone. He is over here. This is really a Monday, and this one is a little bit bigger, so I'm going to do a little bit of my chalkboard paint over here on top of here. Not too much, just a little, so I can dip my sponge in it, and it is a flat surface where I'm going to do it from. So I'm going to place it in here, and I'm going to make little rounds. I'm going to look that I have everywhere some paint, and now I'm doing very carefully, just do some paint over here, and I'm just going to take my time for it. Of course, I hope you take your time for it also. So I did paint it, all the pieces that are open, and of course I try to do it as careful as I can. So I'm going to do carefully. I'm going to take my paint off, at least my, and then I hope that everything will go off and that it looks nice, but I'm not totally sure. It looks, of course, it could have gone worse, but some pieces are not totally did get the paint. So I don't know if I like it this way. We will have to see. It gives a nice old rustic look. So I'm going to think about it. I'll show you in a moment closer. So, and this is how the first one is turned out. Of course, you see it backwards. Don't worry, that's just my telephone. Later, when the reveal is, you will see it much better. So I'm going to let this dry because I can make the choice and work with my little brush. I'm going to work with it, but probably I make more damage than I do right. So I'm going to keep it this way. So, but I'm not totally unhappy. I'm really happy how this one turned out, especially because the stencil was with lots of loose different pieces. So I'm going to let this dry and I'm going to do the second one also. So I did again also with this stencil. I painted all and I am really going to cross my fingers. I hope you do also that it will turn out nicely. Of course, I hope yours will then look even better than mine. So this is I think my third or my fourth time I tried it. So I'm not really good in it yet, but we're going to see how this will turn out. And this is really stuck to my, so I'm going to take everything loose and then I hope for the best that it looks nice. So I'm going to cut it off, at least I hope that it goes out. And in a moment I show you how it turns out. So now I have both of them finished, of course this one also, and I'm happy with the result. Of course, always it can better. You can always do it better. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place one down. I'm going to now make the frame and I'm going to use two for this side and two bigger ones for this side. So very easy. We're just going to make a frame around it. So like this. So what we're going to do first is some glue on the underside. We place this over here. We do some glue on this side, under, over here, and a little on this side and this side. And I see already that I did it wrong. I should have done it on this side and on this side. So we're going to get my towel. You see how handy it is to have a piece of towel over here, and we're going to make sure that we are going to get away the glue we don't need. So we place this over here and place it to the side. We do it over here the same. We do some glue on the underside. Over here, a little small line. Over here and on the tops. And on this one. And now we're going to place this one over here. And you can get it in a nice straight line. Of course, I don't have to do my fingers on top of here. We do on the longer side, we do some smallest line over here. And we place this on the top. And again, we're going to give it some pressure. And some pressure over here. And now we do the underside. It is a little bit obstacles. I told you it is Monday. So sorry about that. Everything is going wrong, which can go wrong. So I'm going to place this one over here and over here. And we're going to give it some pressure from the sides and from this side. And then we're going to let this dry in. And then we already have the base of our sign. And again, now the last piece. And of course we do on the smallest one also a little line over here, and the tops. And this side, place it over here. And we do here the same. And I have, the problem is that my glue is almost empty, and that's why I have so much trouble getting the glue on the place that I want to have it. So that's not really a great thing. So most of the time I always filling it up with another bottle, but I didn't do it before I started. Again over here, and we're going to place this one, and be careful that you over here. And now we only need a line on this side. This way. And now we're going to place this against here, and now we're going to let this dry in at least for a half hour. So you see already how both turned out. I am really loving the brown with the black and the creamy color of the print. So what we're going to do, we're going to place this aside, and we're going to make a kind of a frame. First, the frame for one. We're going to get 4 blocks. We are going to make kind of a stand. We do some glue on the smallest line over here, and we place one of the other blocks against here. We do this already for a long time here on my channel, so I think a lot of you already know. So do some glue. We place this one on the inside over here, and now we do some glue on this side and on this side, and then we're going to place it inside of here. And now we connect everything together, squeeze it, and this way. And we're going to let it dry in. We're going to make a second one, and I only do this 2 together with you, so don't worry, the other ones I will do a little faster. So again, one over here and one on this side. We place this again on the inside over here, and now we do some glue on this side and on the inside of the wider side of the block. And if everything is correctly, you have now glue on all sides, and we're going to let it rest at least for a couple of minutes. I'm going to make another 2, but I do that, like I told you, a little faster. So now we have our 4 pieces, and I showed you a little bit closer how they are made. It's so easy. You do one this way, one against here, one here, and one here, and you make a nice little square. But we do this already a long time, already for I think maybe a couple of years on this channel. So we're going to place this one on top over here in a straight line. We do here the same. We do some glue, and we place this one on top also. And again, make sure that you have them fitting nicely on top of each other and let them dry in. So now we have our 2 side pieces. What we're going to do, we're going to give them a bottom. So we do 2 times 3 and this and this. So we're going to do some glue on one side, on the second side, and we're going to squeeze them together. We do here the same, 1 and number 2, and we're going to squeeze this one also together, and we're going to wipe away the glue we don't need. And again also over here, and we're going to make sure that we have them in a nice a straight line, and we're going to give this only a couple of minutes. So now we already made 2 for the first leg, but we have of course 2 sides. So we're going to do again another 3, and this is 1, place them together, and the last, and again also these 2 together. And we're going to give this also a couple of minutes drying. So we gave them a couple of minutes. We're going to do some glue on all 3 the blocks, and we're going to place this one on top of here, but you can do them in a straight line, but I'm going to turn mine and I'm going to place this one on top of here. I do here the same, some glue over here, and I'm going to place this one because this one has a straight line and this one has them over here, so you get a little bit more texture in your blocks. Again, squeeze it and make sure, and here the same. And now we're going to give it a couple of minutes rest. So if everything is correctly, you have 2 of these pieces and you have 2 of the feet. You see, it gives a little bit more structure to your piece. Now we're going to get a half wooden bowl, but you also can do a little round of a cardboard if you don't want to do some wooden beads. Of course I have here, and I think this is fitting nicely. You see, then it gives a little bit more of a high-end look on the side. So I'm going to glue this one on top of here and place it in the middle. Give it some pressure. We do here the same. Oop. And we place this one on top of here. And again, squeeze it. And look that you have it really in the middle. That looks a little better. And over here, you see, this is how they look like. So I'm going to place this aside. And what we're going to do, we're going to turn them over and we're going to do some glue on the underside. And we place them on top of here, in the middle. We're going to look for if we have it really in the middle. I think I need to go a little to this side. Over here, and now we're going to do this one also, some glue, and we place this in the middle. And now we already have 2 of our stands, and we're going to let this dry in, and we're going to paint it, and then we're going to place it in between one on the sides of one of our sign. But now we're going to do the rest of the base from the second sign. For the second sign, we are going to make a very easy base. We're going to do 3 blocks of 2, and this one, what we're going to do, we do some glue on the wider side of the block, place it on top. We do here the same and place it on top, and this one also over here, and place it on top. Squeeze it, make a straight line, squeeze it, and this one, and squeeze. I'm going to wipe away the glue from the tops over here, and now we're going to let them rest in for a little moment. We're going to go further with 3, another one of 3, another one of 3, and again another one of 3. So 4 times 3 blocks, and this will be the first layer. Of course, row them together, and over here, and this one, and now number 3, and the last of 3, and we're going to squeeze them this way, squeeze it, and also over here, and the last, squeeze it. We're going to give them a couple of minutes drying. We have already our 4 pieces of 3, but like I told you, we are going to double it up. I think that gives a little bit more, just with the other side, a little bit more of a high-end look. So again, another 4 of 3, and we do the very easiest. Again, on the smallest line of the block, we're going to row them together, and I do it as fast as I can. And this, and then we're going to squeeze it and wipe away the glue again. So, but I won't bore you with that. So now we have our 8 blocks. What we're going to do, we make one of them on the tops. This way we're going to turn them on the tops, place them together, and on the tops over here. And the last we're going to row them together. And now you have all the blocks in one line this way. And again, squeeze it. Make sure that you fill in the open gaps like this. And keep a straight line. It is sometimes a little bit difficult to keep the straight line because not all the blocks are the same measurement. We do here the same on this side and on this side. And then we're going to row them to, oop, I already rowed the wrong side. Of course, I need to do the longer side. We're going to squeeze it. And again, feel with your fingers that you have a nice straight line. And then we're going to do some glue on top of here. And we're going to carefully place this one on top of here. So we get a nice thicker standard where he can stand on, because the frames are of course from wood and are a little heavy. So, and we're going to give this a couple of minutes drying. So now we have the bigger feet of our frame. Now we have our loose double blocks. We're going to do them on top of here, but we make sure that they are pointing this way. So you have the wider side of the thicker side of the block pointing to that of that direction. So we place this one on the ending of block number 1. We do here the same, and we are going to do it on the other side. We place this one at the ending of this block, and I show it to you in a moment a little bit closer. And this one will be in the middle, exactly over here. And now we're going to let it rest for a couple of minutes. So this is how it's looking like, and you see already which kind of the blocks are glued together. You see, very easy. What we have now, and you can use it for every sign you make. You don't have to make this sign. You can use it always as a kind of a riser. I have here the same wooden half beads I have for the other stand, and I'm going to glue one on this side and one on this side to give it a little bit more like a high-end look. So place this one over here in the middle and this one over here also, and we're going to give it some pressure, and the same over here. And now we're going to let it dry, and then we're going to paint it. So I gave both of my base where they stand on a couple of minutes. Of course, we are going to paint it. I'm going to start with this one, and I'm going to paint it in the black color because that's fitting nicely with my sign. But maybe you do it in the, like I told you earlier, in the gold or the silver if you like, or maybe some glittering on top of here, some stickers. You can go as crazy as you like. So I'm going to go and I'm going to paint mine in the black color. So I'm going to take my time for it, so I won't bore you with that, so you see it when they are finished. So both of our stands are dried up. What I'm going to do, I'm doing some glue on top of here and here, and I place one of my signs on top, and I do this with hot glue because I have mine later on top of my wall, so I don't use the stand but for something else. So that's why I use hot glue, that I can easily take it off again. So I'm going to do some glue on this one, on this one, and on this one. And I'm going to place this one very easy on top of here. Of course, I have to look that I have it where I need to. And I'm going to squeeze it. And he is already on top of here. And I will turn it around. It's a little bit easier for you to see this way. I'm going to do the other one in between, so you see that now. So for this one we have of course two of our little sides. What we're going to do, we can place them inside of here this way and this one on top of here and let it hang in between. But you also can do them a little higher, so you can make it as high as you like. I don't know which is fitting for your decor. I'm going to go for the lowest line, but of course you can change it up any way you like. So I'm going to do some glue on this side and on this side, and then I'm going to place it in between. But you see in a moment the quick impression. And here you see finally a quick impression of my Tumbling tile blocks stencil signs, and I'm so happy how both of them turned out. Especially you can use them all year round, but like I told you can use any stencil sticker, just what you want, and this is just an inspiration. I hope you give it a try. For everyone who is new here, I hope you enjoy what you saw, and if you do, I hope you will click the red subscribe button, give us a thumbs up and hit the bell so you will be notified every time we upload new DIYs. For more DIYs, come on over to our description box. There you find the link for our DIY channels. Everyone who is here already for a long time, thank you so much for spending a little moment of your day together with us. Everyone have an amazing day. See you in the next one. Bye.